Hello, welcome back to the channel. We're off on a little road trip and I want to share with you today the top 10 things that I love about this Range Rover L322. I've had a bit of time with it, 18 months and 27,000 miles now, so I think I'm fairly well versed in what are good elements to the car, what aren't so good, and maybe the aren't so good is a future video. So let's count them down from 10. I'm going to go with the immediate thing as I'm driving the car: comfort. It's supremely comfortable. I mean, it's 30 degrees outside, the sun is blistering down, and I am cooled with vented seats, so my bottom is air conditioned, not just the air conditioning which you might be able to hear blowing in my face. It's got the command driving position. I can see a long way down the road. I can see everything around me. I can see all around with really good visibility. If it wasn't 30 degrees, but it was -5, I would still be in supreme comfort because it's got a diesel heater. I can press a little button on a remote control from home and it will defrost the car. I've got a heated steering wheel. I've got a heated front windscreen. So actually getting in here, I've got a heated seat. Getting in here in winter, it's actually a pretty nice place to be from the moment you set out. At number 9, again whilst we're still driving, is the powertrain. It's got a 4.4 V8 diesel producing just over 300 horsepower and I think somewhere around 700 Newton meters of torque. So if I put my foot down, we go off down the road as fast as you ever need in a 4x4. It's also really economical. Around town I probably get early 20s, maybe mid 20s, 25 to the gallon. And on a run I can even eke this up to around about 38 miles per gallon. I also think the powertrain on this has stood the test of time. The next generation of this, the L405, actually had this same engine and gearbox all throughout its product life cycle. So it didn't just serve the L322 well, it lasted another 10 years after that. And most of the time when you're driving, it's ticking over at what, 1200 RPM? At number 8, off-roading. I don't off-road. Most I do is probably go down a few muddy country roads or across a field occasionally, but I know I can. It will literally take me anywhere. And actually you put a set of all-terrain tyres on this and you've got extra grip and the confidence that you'll probably beat most things off-road. But that also means when it's winter in the UK and we do get the occasional bit of snow, you're okay to drive in it. You have the confidence that you can go out still. What's number 7, Chris? Is the price. Early ones of these are £2,000 to £3,000, what, 2.5, 3,500 US dollars, up to something like this, which is now less than £10,000, $12,000. And that's cheap. It's a lot of car for the money. At number 6, it's practical too. Got a bench at the back, you've got some shelter to sit under, you've got a cavernous boot, and actually you could lie down in this and sleep 2 of you in it if you really had to. I don't think there's anything about this that isn't practical. It does every job you possibly want. I've got a load liner in this, but you can have it with just the carpet. This car I've got 2 sets of mats for. It's got the standard carpet mat that sits on top of the normal carpet that's built into the car, and then it's got a set of rubbers that sit on top that connect just loosely to the underlying carpet mats. And that means that in winter the muddy boots don't go on the carpets, and actually I leave them in all year round, and that assists me in cleaning the car, wop them out, jet wash them and put them back again. Really nice and easy to do. One of my favourite design features of a Range Rover that makes it really practical to use is this drop down tailgate. You can use it as a bench to sit on, but also when you're loading stuff you don't have to always have everything open, and you do have a bit of shelter when you're loading the boot. At 5 is the amount it costs to run. It's relatively low. It's not a Ford Fiesta, it's not a small car, so it's not going to be the same as servicing a VW Polo or something like that. It's going to be a little bit of money, but actually for the amount of car you get, If you break down these pieces from a £60,000 car into individual parts versus your Ford Fiesta at £8,000 and break that into parts, they stay together quite a lot of the time, and it is reliable. I've had a front arm go on this and that's about it. There hasn't been too many expenses after getting it from the dealer. Cheap to run. Number 4 has got to be its looks. From whichever angle you look at this, you can tell it's a Range Rover. If you see a silhouette of it, you can see that it harps back to the Range Rover Classic, the original Range Rover. And I think they've just got a balance of modern design and classic design hues, like these big haunches on the bonnet, the little dips in it. You know it's a Range Rover from whichever angle you look at it. It is a Range Rover.
At number 3 is the redesigned interior that came with the last facelift of the L322. The big knobs and chunky dials below for all your air conditioning needs and heated seats. And then behind the steering wheel sits a digital display.
Number 2, if I list off all those things that I have in this video, you'd come to the conclusion I was talking about a Range Rover. Because there's no other car like it. It can't be a BMW X5 because it doesn't go off-road. It can't be a saloon or anything like that either. And the only car that it can be is one of these. And for that reason, I love the Range Rover. It is designed to the brief. Yeah, how close to the brief can you get? Well, look at this. This is what they wanted. This is what they've got. And at number 1, top of the list, it's the only car and the only marque with such a large following around the world of online forums, online communities that talk and share information about this car. And that's why it can be so cheap to maintain, because if you've got half an idea of how to use a spanner, you can probably look after this yourself. It's not too technologically advanced like the cars of today are. So, and that community that sits around Land Rover product and the following for the L322, which is much greater than its predecessor, the P38, you can get all the help and support you need to find out the issue because someone's had the issue before. I struggle to find a reason to drive a different car every day because it just works, it just does everything I want and more. I hope you've liked the video. It's given you an idea of what my top 10 things are about this car, and I hope to see you in the next video. I'm really chuffed with how many views I've had on the other videos regarding the L322 and the Rolls-Royce as well. So thank you very much for supporting the channel, and until next time, thanks very much. See you soon.